Hi there everyone. Today I'm going to show you how to make a crown ring. For that you'll need 20 gauge wire and 28 gauge weaving wire. I'm using rose gold today. You also need beads of your choice, usually round about 3 mils to 5 mil would work quite well. I've used little shantung beads and smoky Swarovski crystals as well. So what you need to do is cut off a length of approximately 13 inches of the 20 gauge wire. And just straighten that wire as much as you can. You don't want any bends or anything in it. So I'm just straightening the wire and getting the 28 gauge wire ready. 28 gauge wire is really thin, so you have to be careful of any kinks or knots that go in the wire, because it'll just snap. So you have to be careful when you're weaving. So I have probably a bit more than 13 inches here that I measured. And I'm just making the first little loop for the crown. Now you can make these loops any size. You can make the centre one larger and make them, descending. It's really up to yourselves. You can make them organic and make them all different sizes. It's up to yourself. Try and keep it as spaced as evenly as possible. Now this ring will be adjustable, so it will fit quite a lot of sizes. If it's for a wider finger, then I would suggest maybe cut about 14-15 inches of the 20 gauge wire and make about 8 or 9 loops. This one I've done is 7 loops, and the middle one's the tallest one. So just manipulate your wire. I didn't like that loop, so I've just straightened it back up again. Sorry that I keep going off camera. This is the first time I've done a video on making any kind of jewellery, so I'll have to make sure the next video that I'm on camera all the time, so I apologise for that, but I'll try and explain what's happening in the video. So I'm just making all my wee loops. You can use 18 gauge wire if you want the ring to be a bit more sturdy. That's fine as well. I'm sure you could use 26 gauge wire as well as the weaving wire. But I thought I would do a rose gold ring today. I got the rose gold jewellery wire from Cooks and Gold, and I also got the beads from Cooks and Gold as well, because they deal with Swarovski crystals. This was a while ago. I've had all these beads for a while, so I don't know if you'll still be able to get them. So I'm just working through the loops at the moment. As you can see, the fourth one is a little bit taller. That's the middle one. And I'll just graduate them down. You can make your crown ring as tall or as small as you like. You'll notice I'm wearing gloves. That's because I have contact dermatitis on my hands, and it's not very nice, so I don't think people would be wanting to see a video with that. It's quite flared up at the moment as well. So I'm just working through the loops, straightening the wire. I have made a few others in silver, and you'll see that at the end, and it's the same process. Just keeping the wire straight, checking it. I do videos on other projects as well. I do resin art, alcohol ink art, I make tutu dresses, jewellery, lots of different things. So this is only my second video of a voiceover. I could have done it along with the videos I was making it, but I decided to do it this way. Hope you're enjoying it so far, and I hope you can follow along. If you have any comments or tips or even criticism, then feel free to send me a message. And subscribe to my channel, where I'll be making lots of different things. Now, probably about a centimetre from the last loop, you need to do a bend in the wire and just squeeze it together with, these are my flat nose pliers. Squeeze it together and just make sure it sits evenly. And just I've straightened my wire again. So as I say, this is my very first jewellery making video. I have made jewellery, but I've just not videoed it yet. So you'll see me maybe doing a little bit and then changing my mind. So I'm just making a swirl at the end of the very first part of the wire. But I decided I wanted it a bit closer. Obviously you can't see that. I've took myself off camera slightly, really sorry. I'll need to work out how to get a better position, and that's what it should look like at the moment. Then what you want to do is make a bend at the other side, probably at the same level as your little loop. Bring that across and squeeze that in so that the bend is really tight. Then what you want to do is just check that everything is even, it's looking good, you're happy with the placement of everything. Straighten your wire. And that's what it should look like at the moment. And that's you got your structure. what you need to do at this point is cut off the excess wire, leave enough to make a little loop at the end. You can see I kind of messed about with this. Decided I didn't want that bend in it, so I took that out, although you can't see it on camera. And I've just decided to make a small loop. Cut off the excess wire. And then just loop that. Loop that downwards. The loop is a bit big, so I've made it a bit smaller. Just cut the tip off and recurled it. And just straighten the things up. It should look like this. Now for the weaving wire. As I say, this wire is 28 gauge, so it's very fine. The higher the gauge, the higher the number, the thinner the wire. So 28 gauge is really thin wire. 16 gauge is quite thick wire, so that's how that works for wire anyway. And these are the little beads that I've chosen. The middle one is metallic. It's like a metallic rose gold, and that's Swarovski crystal as well. And then the two smoky bicone 4mm. These are Swarovski crystal as well. Bought from Cooks and Gold. As I say, I've had them for a while, so. I've got so much stock that I need to start looking at things. So we're just connecting the weaving wire onto the end where the loop is. 2 or 3 times wrapped round, and then cut off the tail, the little extra tail, and just tuck it in to the base wire so that it doesn't poke out and is able to scratch you or catch on any clothing. So just tuck that wee tail in, and that's you ready to start. So what you want to do is just go round the bottom wire, the bottom base wire, about 10 or 11 times, maybe a bit more. It really just depends how far away your first loop is. So you just want to weave round the bottom wire, across the back, over the front, and do that about 10-12 times until you get to your first loop, the base of your first loop. And just keep squeezing them together, make sure it's quite tight together. And that's just your very bottom base wire that you're wrapping round. Just every so often give it a wee scoosh up so that the wire's not too loose. Sorry, I'm bobbing around here. And then you go over, when you get to the first sort of dip in the loop, you go round the bottom wire and the top wire 3 times. So just keep following the single wrapping of the bottom base wire. Sorry, I keep going off camera. I will learn. Just keep checking your wire, that it's not too kinked or bent. You just want to keep things kind of even. So I'm still wrapping the bottom wire there. You'll see the first loop that I'm coming to. I'll keep doing the bottom wire wrapping until I get to the bottom edge of the first curve, when the wire touches the base wire, the curved wire. I hope that makes sense. I'm just straightening the wire. I hope you're following along okay and it's easy enough to see. Now I've gone over the first, the 2 wires 3 times, scoosh them together, and that's the first bottom loop that you're attaching to all the base wires. So 3 times you go over that, and then go back to just wire wrapping the bottom base wire again. About 10, 12 times, as I say, as it depends on when your next bottom loop comes along. Hope you can see this. So when you get to the next bottom loop, then you do 3 wraps over all the base wires. And just keep scooshing it up. Making sure you don't overlap each single wrap. Keep it nice and neat and evenly spaced. That's me getting to my 3 again. So wrapping 3 times round the second bottom loop. And then back to doing the bottom base wire, just wrapping that until you get to the next loop. And that's where we will do our first little bead. The 3 central ones will be beaded. That's quite fiddly. I look like I'm shaking there, but I'm not. Just got to make sure you don't kink the wire because it's so delicate it will break. So just put your bead in place, and I hope you can see that. I know it's slightly off camera, I'm really sorry. And then you just want to incorporate the wee bead and wrap it round. The base wires until you've encased it. You want to do that with the other 2 beads as well. So I'm going to fast forward this section and just keep doing the single wrap on the bottom base wire, and then when you come to the loop you do 3. I'm just placing the little crystal, the metallic rose gold crystal. It does have little, it's encased in a little silver cup. It's like I can't remember what it's called. It's been so long since I've had them. It will come to me. Anyway, I'm encasing that in the largest loop, the central one. Please leave a comment if you have any tips for me, any criticism. I'm quite happy to take criticism. I don't get offended, so feel free to leave a comment. As I say, it's my first jewellery making video, and I just need to position myself better in front of the camera. I just hope you're able to follow along, and I hope it helps. As you can see, it's quite hard working with the 28 gauge because you really have to make sure it doesn't kink or it'll just snap. So basically what you're doing is just wrapping the bottom base wire until you get to the bottom of the loop on each one, and then do 3 wraps, and then continue and just keep doing that and adding in your beads. I'm just going to fast forward this part. Yeah, just keep wrapping until you get to the end. You're wrapping the very bottom base wire. Just keep wrapping it round and scooching it up, making sure it's tight and even, not overlapping at any place. Just keep wrapping until you get to the very end loop. And then once you've done that, just cut the excess wire off and use your chain nose pliers to bury the little end into the middle of the wires so that it doesn't catch on anything. Now you want to just straighten your wire, make sure you're happy where everything is, and this is what it should look like. Very sparkly. And then get your ring mandrel and shape it to the size that you want. As I say, it is adjustable, so this part doesn't really matter. You just want to get it round. And I'm just using my tools just to tap it round lightly. I usually use my nylon jaw pliers so that it doesn't leave any marks. And just gently press it in. And that's you. You've completed a little crown ring. And as I say, you can use any beads up to probably about 6mm would be maximum, I would say. And you can use, this is 20 gauge wire, just giving it a little tap to straighten it up. 20 gauge wire and 28 gauge weaving wire, but as I say, you can use 18 gauge base wire, and probably 26 gauge wire would be okay to use as well. So this is what it looks like finished, and it's adjustable. I hope you like it. I hope I made the video okay and you were happy with it and could follow along. I've done them in silver with little blue Swarovski crystals as well, and just a plain one. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed the video and you could follow along. Leave a comment and subscribe. Thank you.